Hello, kings and queens. So have you ever been in a situation in which you or someone you knew had the opportunity to step up and take the lead, but chose to stand back instead? So it happens to all of us. And in this episode, we're going to tap into the leader within you. And we're going to talk about some situations in which it's best for you to step up and take the lead, as well as situations in which it's best for you to perhaps step aside and let someone else take the lead, which, by the way, is one aspect of being a great leader. So get ready, because you are about to take one step further into your leadership. Do you ever have the feeling of knowing there's more for you? More of you to step into, more of you to become, more of you to give, more impact to have, more untapped potential for you to live into and create from? I share the same feeling. So how do we close the gap between who we are and who we want to become? How do we close the gap between where we are and where we want to be? How do we close the gap between our current reality and our envisioned potential? It's time to step out of autopilot and live into purpose. Welcome to Purpose Mastery, a podcast for conscious leaders who are committed to showing up fully and giving their unique gifts to the world. I'm your host and fellow journeyman, Isaac Kaufman. I'm a coach, a creator, and a man on a mission to support leaders on their journey of stepping further into their authentic nature and living their life purpose. Our goal with this show and company is to introduce you to the people, the ideas, and the insights that will help you rise up into living your fullest potential. Welcome home to your authentic nature. Welcome to Purpose Mastery. So one thing you'll come to know about me is I am obsessively fascinated with animal documentaries. Documentaries such as Planet Earth and shows like that, and Netflix has a million of them. And I am endlessly captivated by these documentaries, not only because I have a strong affinity for nature, but it's so fascinating to see the similarities, the parallels between the daily struggles of animals in the wild and the human experience. I have learned just as many life lessons from watching animals in the wild than I have from anywhere else, and I'd like to share just one of those lessons with you in today's episode. So here's a quick story of a clip that I saw from a cheetah documentary. So there were 5 male cheetah brothers who found themselves in an unexpected and uncomfortable circumstance. So after some heavy unexpected rainfall, we see these 5 cheetahs stuck on one side of a river, which they have to cross in order to continue their search for food. Now this river, although the water is rushing pretty fast, this is kind of a raging river here, it is narrow. It's only about 20 feet wide and maybe just a few feet deep. But the cheetahs don't know this. For all they know, it's 100 feet deep. And for all they know, it's packed with alligators. But as the audience, we can tell that there are no alligators in the water, and it's not that deep, and the bottom line is, it's safe to cross. But then again, the cheetahs don't know that. So, now the cheetahs are not good swimmers, and they don't know what dangers are lurking there in the water, right? This is complete foreign territory to them, but they have to cross it. So this is an obstacle which they need to not only closely assess, but also deal with and figure out together. So they're standing on the edge of the water thinking to themselves, what do we do? Who's gonna be the first one to jump in? I don't know. So they're all standing around just looking at each other like, what do we do? And so eventually we see it was the physically biggest and strongest of the group, which knew that he was the cheetah for the job. And we know that it's the physically biggest and strongest one because the narrator, who obviously knows these individual cheetahs very well, because the whole documentary was based on them, they inform us that it's the biggest and the strongest one of the group. And so he's the one that stepped up. So just as it's the fastest one who might be the one to initiate and take the lead on a hunt, and maybe it's the one with the most stamina who finishes the chase, but in this particular situation of crossing a potentially dangerous river, it was the bigger and stronger one who knew that he was the one most likely capable to figure this out. So we see him step up, taking the lead, and taking that leap. We see him take one big leap, almost making it across the entire river in one leap. He came just a few feet short, but he landed in the water, probably went up to his shoulders about, and then he just quickly ran out and shook himself off. So his brothers see this and they think, oh, okay, it's safe. And if he can do it, then we can do it. So let's follow his lead. So we see them one by one. We see them jump from one side of the river and leap over to the other side. Again, they're all coming a few feet short. They're landing in the water. They jump out, shake themselves off. It's no problem. And so one by one, we see them leap across the river to their freedom. And it was all because of this one cheetah, the physically strongest one of the group, who knew that this was his opportunity to use his gift, to use his strength, literally his strength, to lead himself and his brothers to salvation. So for you, is there a specific area in your life in which you feel confident and capable, but sometimes find yourself kind of waiting for someone else to take action? Now, this really does happen to everybody, but I want to know, what are your strengths? Maybe your strength is communicating or organizing, or maybe it's offering support or initiating difficult conversations or tasks, or maybe it's taking charge in a moment of crisis, or maybe it's simply your physical strength. Whatever it is, identify your unique gift, your strength. And with that strength in mind, what are the raging rivers? What are the situations and challenges that you find yourself in which you must also cross? Maybe you're trying to live a healthier lifestyle, or trying to learn a new skill, or trying to grow as a family or expand as a company. Whatever the situation or task is, that may be your opportunity to utilize your strength. That may be your opportunity to lead. Now, maybe you don't recognize yourself yet as a leader, but I can promise you, there are situations and circumstances that are perfect opportunities for you to step into your leadership in that moment. And that's one of the ways we become better leaders, by having the courage to step up and lead in those situations that are the most suitable for us to lead, and expanding from there. Now, the other side of that coin would be, you do recognize yourself as a leader, and you are used to stepping up and leading, but perhaps stepping up to lead in situations, or perhaps you are stepping up to lead in situations where perhaps you should be handing the reins off to someone else. Maybe you're so used to leading that you're just stepping up to lead in situations without even really assessing if that's what you should be doing in this moment. One of the things about being a great leader is knowing when to let someone else lead. Because only a fool thinks that he's the best person for every job and every task. A great leader knows when to step up, take the lead, and inspire people to support him or her. And a great leader knows when to step aside and inspire someone else to step up, and then supporting them. And that requires one to have enough self-awareness to know what one's strengths and weaknesses are, and to have the intelligence and the courage to ask, find, and seek someone else to lead that given task. So what's your strength? So a good question to ask ourselves is, will my particular strength help me and others achieve our given task and goal? Will my particular strength help me and others achieve our given task and goal in this moment? Now, our ego, of course, will always say, yes, absolutely. But of course, we know that that's not the case. You can't use a hammer for every job. But if your given strength is the best tool for the job, step up, step into your strength, step into your leadership, and take the lead. Now, this cheetah, or these cheetahs rather, they aren't natural-born swimmers, nor do they need to be. But he was strong enough and brave enough to make it across a narrow river. Now, your particular strength might not be the absolute best tool for the job. Your strength might not be enough to get you across the ocean, but it's likely enough to get you across the river you're facing, and it's certainly enough to at least get you started. So step up, take the lead, take that leap, and others will join you. So did an insight or an idea or a question come up for you here? If so, reach out to me. I'll be responding to everyone's question. One of my goals here is to create a community where we can support each other's growth. So I'd be happy to hear from you, and I'd be happy to support. So guys, is there value here for you? If so, join me. Together, let's continue this journey of stepping further into our authentic power and purpose. I'm going to be sharing with you all of the best insights, mindset strategies, helpful tools that I've gathered in my entire life's journey. I'll also be having guests on the show to have conversations with leaders who are living their purposeful lives so we can learn from their journey as well. All of this to fast track your own journey to living a truly successful, purposeful, and fulfilling life. So follow, subscribe, and if you think one of your fellow kings or queens would get some value from this episode, share the wealth. Till next time, stay sovereign.